Ladies and gentlemen, we did it! 1,000 subscribers. I would like to thank all of you who subscribed and watched my videos. This is a little special video where I'm going to be answering some questions you guys made in the community post I posted a couple of days ago, and also a video to celebrate. By the way, if you're not subscribed, this is a celebration of subscriptions, so I don't know what you're waiting for, because you're definitely invited to subscribe. The first question comes from AK the Chandelure, and the question is, what's one fight in Naruto that never happened in the series that you would like or wanted to see? Well, there are a couple. Let's do this in chronological order. The first one I would have liked to see was Sasuke versus Neji in the tuning exams. They were both very hyped genins and the top of their classes, and I really thought they were going to fight each other when I was first watching Naruto, but they never did. So that's something I would have liked to see. Moving on to Shippuden, I would have enjoyed to see heavy Sasuke versus Jiraiya before Sasuke fights Itachi. It would have been fun. Maybe they find each other while Jiraiya is investigating the Akatsuki and Sasuke is trying to find Itachi, so that would be fun. Also, in Shippuden, I would have loved to see Team Guy, not necessarily Guy himself, but Neji, Lee, and maybe Tenten, but nobody cares about Tenten. But I would have liked to see them fighting a stronger opponent. Maybe if only Guy wasn't in Konoha when Pain attacked, Neji and Lee could have fought Conan, for example. I think that would have been fun. Also, I think in the war arc, Sakura needed a fight as well. So I think if you put her against, say, Sasori and Chio, who she knew before, that would have been very interesting. And then she could have awakened the 100 seals in that fight instead of just awakening when fighting the Jubi. And finally, a fight I would have really wanted to see, and I think this is the top contender here, was Madara versus Jubidara. I would have loved to see Madara fighting the strongest character we've ever seen, and if Madara was able to get Hashirama Sage mode and then fight Jubidara, that would have been very interesting. Yatender Sharma, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that by the way, asks, what is your worst Naruto plot or arc? And that's not very hard to answer. It's definitely the first half of the war arc. It was kind of stale, not many relevant things happened, and a lot of the fights, like Darui versus Ginkaku and Kinkaku, were pretty underwhelming. But everything got better in the war after Madara shows up. So yeah, the first half isn't very good, but then I really like the second half, except for Kaguya. Black YouTube asks, who do you think had the worst fan base in Naruto? Well, if you're talking about characters, I think of two characters that have a pretty, cult-like fan base, I would say. Itachi, for one. There is a lot of people who think Itachi is very, very strong, way stronger than he actually is, and that essentially deify him. And I really like Itachi, okay? But I understand he's not as powerful as some people in the series like Minato, Hashirama, Madara, stuff like that. And a lot of people just bring up the Yaramir, Tsukiyomi, and Izanagi as if they are end-all be-all to all fights. And it's not like that. Jiraiya is another character people really think is very strong, which is not essentially true. I mean, he is strong, but Jiraiya is nowhere near the strongest characters in the series. He is Sanin level, he is around the level of Orochimaru, and he doesn't really fare well against characters that come towards the end of the series, in the war arc and stuff like that. But because people like the character, they essentially think he is extremely powerful, which isn't true. And I also like Jiraiya, by the way. And by the way, I chose those two characters because of my Jiraiya versus Itachi video, which, if you go to the comment section, it's essentially a war zone down there. Cody Starting asks, my top 3 anime. Okay, so in no particular order. Well, obviously Naruto has to be there. My first ever anime that I watched. I love the characters, I love the story, for the most part. and I just really like Naruto. It's amazing. I love it. Another one would be Code Geass. I love Code Geass. The characters are so interesting. Lelouch is amazing. I really like smart characters, by the way. They are always fascinating to watch, especially when they are well written. And Code Geass has many developments that take you very much off guard. Not necessarily plot twists, but just like plot turns. Things that happen that you're just not expecting, and you're always guessing what's gonna happen, and you always guess wrong, and that makes for an exciting anime. Another one would be Vinland Saga. This is an extremely well-made anime. The animation is gorgeous and the story is amazing. It's more realistic, quote-unquote, than other anime. There are some fantastical elements, of course, but it's very much rooted in history, and I am a huge history fan. The story itself is very deep and profound, and I very much recommend it if you don't mind a little bit of blood in your shows. Yatender Sharma asks again my preferred anime type, and I would say I have two. Shonen, of course. I watch a lot of shonen. I don't watch all of them, like I haven't seen One Piece and Dragon Ball, and some of you may find that a sin, but I've seen the most recent ones. I have some very strong opinions in some new shonen that I really don't like and that most people like, but for the most part, I really like Naruto, obviously. I love Boku no Hero, and the new one, Jujutsu Kaisen, is really good as well. Also, Attack on Titan. It's considered to be a shonen, but I don't know if it's a classic shonen. And I really like seinen as well. Attack on Titan is kind of a seinen. Vinland Saga is definitely seinen, and there are many good seinens out there. I don't really watch many comedy animes, romance, and other stuff. I've only really liked one isekai anime my entire life, which is Mushoku Tensei, and I just don't really like the others, so that's it. Oh, by the way, I really like some sports anime too. I mean, essentially Haikyuu is really good, and Bakuman as well, which are both shonen, but they're not fighting shonen, so I figured I would mention them here. Black YouTube asks again, what is your favorite Naruto villain? And that's easy as well. Madara, by far. He is my favorite character, essentially, and he is a villain, so he's going to be my favorite villain, of course. I just find Madara's backstory and motivations really philosophical and deep. Also, volume 65 of Naruto, which tells the backstory of Madara and Hashirama and their fight in the Valley of the End, is my favorite Naruto volume because I just find it so fascinating. The Warring States period is a great time period in Naruto, and I wish Kishimoto had explored that a little bit further, but what we got was amazing. So yeah, I really like Madara, and I hate how he died. Mr. Tipu asks, which Naruto character you hate the most? And that's also very easy, which connects with my previous answer. I hate Kaguya to the core, because she's the worst character in Naruto, and because she came in to kill Madara, and that's all she was in there to do. There was nothing more. Kaguya is a shit character. She has no development. She is terrible in everything she does. Why would you do Kaguya as your final antagonist? You haven't built her up like you did Madara, because you built Madara for 300 chapters or even more, and Kaguya was like mentioned one time before and that's it, and then she shows up. Like, why? Why? And the way Madara dies is so dissatisfying. So Kaguya, I hate Kaguya. And she begins the spiral of death that is Boruto. And if you want to know more about why I hate Boruto villains, check out this video right here that I'm showing up on screen. And that's it. Thank you all for asking me the questions, for subscribing, and for liking and watching my videos. If you're not subscribed, please do so. And also like this video to make sure it goes well on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.